everybody, and Guten Tag, Freunde. It is I, the Teutonic Play, coming at you with another edition of Grains of Truth. That's right, folks. We are in the second edition of Grains of Truth. And before we get into anything at all, I want to thank everybody for watching this video. I want to thank everybody for listening to this little tirade of mine. And, well, by God, I got an announcement to make. That's probably going to upset the folks who are sitting over there and saying, "Hey, Plague, you need to play more games. You need to play more games." I mean, my Bandicam, all right? When I play a video game, when I record myself playing it, when I recorded part 1 of my Medieval 2 Total War series as the Holy Roman Empire, the sound and video went out of sync after about 5 or 10 minutes. And after I tested it on low-quality PC setting, the preset for low-quality PC, I mean, it still went out of sync after 5-10 minutes. So I'm afraid we're going to have to table. Not totally kill off. We're not going to totally kill it off, mind you, but we're going to table. We're going to postpone any kind of Let's Play activity until I can get that issue fixed, or until Bandicam can pull their heads out of their asses or whatever. So for now, it's just going to be Grains of Truth and some WoW lore, and that should be good enough for you guys. Grains of Truth video once a week. Hey, world's your fucking burrito. Now, this Grains of Truth video is going to cover biological wiring mostly. Biological wiring and all the rules and regulations and goddamn nanny laws that are trying to regulate biological wiring and circumvent biology and human physiology as we know it, and try to make us all into little robots, you want my personal opinion. But first, let's get into the basic wiring, because you won't be able to understand the laws and know the goddamn law and what they mean without first understanding what we're biologically wired to do. Now, I'm telling 8-year-old kids to steer clear of my videos for a reason, because in my videos, I cover subject matters that some of which are not fit for, young ears. So if any 8-year-old kids are listening to this, get off the computer and have your damn mother tuck you in and read you a goddamn bedtime story. I mean, because, well, obviously, if you're trying to listen to something like this, it's going to be late at night. The parents are going to be asleep, and you should be in bed! You should be in bed, you little 8-year-old prick! Damn it! Anyway, the first subject matter I'm going to cover is the basic wiring as it pertains to the reproductive activity, or as I like to, or the technical term is, well, sex. Now, as humans, we're wired to fuck. We're wired to want to reproduce and pass on our genes to a generation of offspring and perpetuate the race, perpetuate the human race, and perpetuate the species. And once again, when I say race, I mean human race, because I don't believe in race, because humans are humans no matter which way you slice it. It's kind of like a turkey. No matter which way you slice it, it's still a turkey. Anyway, we're wired to want to reproduce, of course. I mean, if I didn't want to reproduce, then obviously I wouldn't have a girlfriend, because we invented dating to ascertain that a potential mate is genetically fit and personality-wise compatible with us, personality-wise, because because We are wired. We humans are wired to mate for life. We humans are wired to find someone to settle down with and spend the rest of our lives with. And dating is basically a trial run of that particular scenario. Now, we're wired to want to reproduce. Now, this is one of the problems I have with the leadership of the Catholic Church, is they are requiring that their priests be celibate, as in not engage in any sexual activity at all, and at the same time they're wondering why they're getting yinged and why they're getting goddamn yelled at and all this heat for their priests handling small children, small boys, and their priests. What you don't hear about is some priests will actually go out and bang a nun. They'll go out and do a nun. And they'll call it Immaculate Conception. They'll call it a miracle, even though they know full well that Father Flanagan was doing Sister Constance in the damn convent. Now, but here's the catch. I don't have any problems whatsoever. I mean, if a priest wants to go out and bang a nun, you know what? Hey. That's not a crime. He's wired to do it. If he's a straight man, he's wired to get with a woman and bone her and have kids. So my attitude towards this whole nun thing is, hey, you know what? They're wired to do it. They're consenting adults. Yes means yes. Let it pass. All right? Just let it pass. Not a crime, not a sin. Let it pass. But in regards to this priest pedophilia, that's where you run into some problems. That's where you're going to get some heat from old Plague over here, because no one endorses or condones any sort of pedophilic activities whatsoever, and including the Catholic Church. And the reason that the priests are having sex and philandering these damn choir boys is because obviously their cheese holes remind them of a woman's business end. And so here you got these priests molesting choir boys because they can't have sex because it's against their religious principles as Catholic priests to do so. Now here's the solution to that problem. And Pope Francis, if your holiness is listening to this, I got news for you, Frank. Can I call you Frank? Good. Let me be Frank, all right? I'm calling for you and the church leadership to end celibacy. Put an end to celibacy. Just put an end to celibacy and just let the fucking instincts, now, Pope Francis, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. I know you're a bit shocked to hear that four-letter word. I mean, excuse my Latin, but look. End celibacy and just let the priests get married and have families as their natural instinct, which, by the way, God gave them for fucking outside! Just let them follow their natural instinct. I mean, do you see an Orthodox priest molesting a child? No. And you know why? Because Orthodox priests are allowed to get married and have families. No matter if you're Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, give me my drink Orthodox. Jesus Christ. Orthodox priests can get married and have kids. Protestant pastors can get married and have kids. All right? End celibacy and end it now or soon or whenever it comes up. Call an ecumenical council and just call an ecumenical council and just tell them put an end to celibacy. Let the priests get married and have kids. I mean, you're allegedly infallible. If you issue a decree, then the Holy Spirit, according to your church, this is for Pope Francis, if you're listening to this, Holy Father, according to your church, any decree that you issue that actually gets out to the public, the Holy Spirit told you to issue. And Well, maybe you should see that celibacy is not the way. All right? End celibacy. That's one of those policies I have a problem with. Celibacy for Catholic priests. It's the reason the reason that a Catholic priest would engage in that sort of pedophilia, that sick, twisted, perverted, disgusting Woody Allen, Jerry Sandusky, ass-loving pedophilia crap, is because they're supposed to be celibate. No, they're not. They're supposed to want to have sex and get married and have kids and experience the reproductive act, which is what God intended. Sorry about that, folks. Didn't mean to get a little bit off. I got a little bit off kilter there. I didn't mean to get off kilter there. Jesus Christ. We're supposed to be talking about sex. Anyway, we're supposed to be talking about sex and reproduction and human physiology and biology as it pertains to that. But humans are wired to want to fuck. That's basically what I'm saying. And celibacy gets in the way of that. That's why Catholic priests will philander with a small boy. At least some of them. Now they're a good priest. They're a bad priest. Yeah, I'm aware. You know, each group you got good, decent folks, and you got assholes. Of course, all you hear about is the assholes. But humans are wired to want to fuck, which is why I'm calling for an end to celibacy in the Catholic Church. I mean, I know I'm technically not a Catholic. I'm not a Catholic, but I mean, let me just set the record straight here. I am not a Catholic. All right, I'm Protestant, but you know, like I said, I mean, and by Protestant, I mean I worship in the Protestant section of the one universal church / synagogue / mosque. All right, I worship in the Protestant Christian section of that particular group. And you know, as I explained in my first video, and I explain all about that in my first video, but that whole synagogue, mosque, church thing. So I might want to take a look at the first edition of Grains of Truth to kind of get a feel for what I'm talking about here. But, you know, we're wired to want to fuck. And, you know, what I like is the desert island theory. All right? I got this friend. He's my best friend. And for the sake of confidentiality and in the interest of, you know, privacy, we will, I'm going to call him Wiz. I'm going to call him Wiz, all right? Because old Wiz, you know, Wiz is up there in years, and he's going to college not for a degree, but he's just going for knowledge. He ain't going for nothing except for knowledge, and I'll eat dinner with him occasionally. I'll visit him occasionally. Got this friend named Wiz, and old Wiz, he proposed the desert island theory, which of course I agree with because anything Wiz says is generally right. He's got more experience. And well, we're calling him Wiz because he's a whiz. That's why we're calling him Wiz, for Christ's sake, all right? And old Wiz is sitting over there saying, oh, well, gee, you know, the desert island theory, and I agree. And here's the desert island theory. I mean, we're wired to do this. So, for the sake of the argument, I mean, for the sake of, you know, basic human reproduction, because, I mean, and of course you got to have a male and a female to partake in that sort of activity. So we'll take one man, one woman, and put them on this desert island with no other humans at all. None. In regards of humans, this desert island now has a population of 2, one man and one woman. If help does not arrive for a long enough period of time, these 2 people will get together and they will fuck. They will fuck. And they will like it. I don't care. All right? I don't care if they hate each other. I don't care if one of them's of a different racial persuasion and the other happens to be a goddamn Grand Imperial Wizard racist. All right? I don't care if one's skinny and doesn't like fat people and the other person's a goddamn... and the other person's a fucking ham bone, a fat ham bone jelly ass, all right? Most of my sayings I get from Ghost from True Capitalist Radio. He's not on the air anymore, but he's good. You should listen to him in the archive. You should listen to him on YouTube. All right. But anyway, I got off kilter again. Sorry about that. So you put these two people on a desert island, and if help doesn't arrive within a long enough time, they'll fuck. They'll get to fucking, and they'll make goddamn kids. All right. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they are. As long as they're a human male and a human female, they will fuck and they will make kids. And neither of them's gonna cry rape. They will like it. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they are. And that's the long and the short of that. And here's another thing. The genders are going to be wired differently. That's why men say, "Oh, I'll never understand women." Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's why women say, "Oh, I'll never understand men." Yeah, 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 yeah. Because the genders are wired differently. Now, I mean, I'm a man, of course, and as a man, I like, manly, stuff, like explosions and fight scenes and all that good stuff. I mean, I like my movies with explosions, with fight scenes. Action movies are cool. I mean, I watched Need for Speed last summer, and I gotta say, it was a real treat. The explosions were something else. I mean, Michael Bay. I think Michael Bay's a good director. I like his explosions in his movies, and I especially like the MythBusters. As a man, I'm into stuff like that. And women, they like chick flicks. They like you want to know why chick flicks are called chick flicks? Because their target demographic is women. A man will sit over there through a chick flick and just shake his head and just say, "Oh, this is crap, me, me, me," because, well, personally, I think it is. But but I'm a man. I can say. I mean, so I'm kind of wired to say that. But that's why men don't like chick flicks, because they're movies for chicks. They're the type of movies that girls like, with romance and emotional shit. I'm not into that crap whatsoever, for Christ's sake. Are you kidding me? And then, men are more on the practical side of things. We don't like excessive decorations. We don't like excessive jewelry. Well, some men do. Some men do, and I'm not going to get into the stereotypes, but some men do. But most of us do not. That's more of a girl thing. And the reason women like it is because shiny rocks attract men, and, girls like, men with money and power, because subconsciously they know that men with money are going to be good providers, and men with power are going to be good protectors. And if you have money and power, well, there's both wrapped up in a nutshell. World's your burrito. I mean, slam, bam, thank you, ma'am, world's your burrito. So, I mean, and men like having money and power because it impresses the girls. And when it comes to men, women like men with muscles, men with manly figures and six packs, because that says, "Hey, I'm developed, I'm strong, I'm a good protector, I can provide, I can have kids." That signals to a woman that a man is reproductively fit, and that's the same reason that men like women with big tits, wide hips, curvy curves, because they're looking for a woman who can actually have their kid, bear their child. That's why they're called childbearing hips. Nice wide hips. And they like shapely women because, well, gee, it denotes genetic fitness. It means, hey, I'm developed. Come get me, boys. That's what it means, for Christ's sake. And the reason women like, long cocks, long dicks, big dicks, is because back in the caveman days, that's what women selected for. You know, I mean, humans, statistically, we are the best hung primates in the animal kingdom. My throat's a little dry here. Sipping on an X Energy Frostberry Blast. Pretty good. In fact, I'd venture to say it's almost as good as Mountain Dew Voltage. Got some of that left, too. Gonna buy more tomorrow. Anyway, that's why men like women with big tits and wide hips and a healthy layer of subcutaneous fat. Now, granted, I mean, most men aren't gonna like, big, fat ham bone chicks riding around on their rascals, through Walmart buying potato chips. I mean, I don't like fat chicks. I like a nice, respectably curvy, shapely figure. That's what I like in my women. So that's so while a man is being practical and buying only what he needs, here you have a woman buying a big old fucking purse and all this ooh-la-la bullshit. This ooh-la-la decorative frou-frou bullshit. Because it attracts the guys. Now, we men are practical. We buy things like, when a woman goes clothes shopping, she actually considers how she'd look in that particular article of clothing, and then she tries it on. But if you're a man, when I go clothes shopping, now I hardly ever go clothes shopping, but if I do, if I need like a new shirt or a new pair of pants because my shirt's got a big gaping fucking hole in it for some reason, or my pants have a big hole in them for some reason, I just go to the clothes section, I go to the men's department and say, yeah, this fits. And I throw it in the cart. Yep, this fits. This fits. This fits. Yeah. If it fits, it's fine. That's my mentality, and that's almost every self-respecting man's mentality. At least if you're not, metrosexual. But, and that's the idea. Now, I like clothes that look good, but, I go for practicality and whether it fits first. If it fits, it's fine. I don't care if the colors fucking clash. If it fits, it's fine. That's my motto for clothes. If it fits, it's fine. And and we impress the girls by not wearing the best clothes and wearing excessive amounts of jewelry and having gold, gold dripping off our necks. We impress the women by, shiny cars, big houses, fat rolls, making it rain. Let's make it rain up in this motherfucker! Let's make it rain! Woo! That's how we impress the girl. Money and power. If you're a janitor making $8 an hour, forget it. But, most of the time, just forget it. But if you're a goddamn medical laboratory scientist making $80,000 a year, women are, you're going to be more, I won't say women are going to beat a path to your door, but I will say that they're more likely to actually approach you. Especially if you walk into the bar wearing, a nice suit, not all decked out, but just a, nice respectable suit or a nice casual dress. Because it tells them, hey, I can afford that shit. Ha ha! Woo! That's what it tells them, for Christ's sake. Right? And that's our basic wiring. And another thing is gender roles. Now, this may sound sexist, but folks, I am not a sexist, all right? If you're a woman and you want to go out and get a job and make a life for yourself, kudos. If you're a man and you want to stay at home and take care of the kids, fine. But usually what happens, now, back in the caveman days, back in prehistoric times, what the man did was he went out, hunted the goddamn mammoth and brought, or a saber tooth or whatever, or one of those big fucking sloths that existed in the Ice Age, and they'd bring home the meat. They would literally bring home the meat and put the food on the table. They would provide for and defend the family, which at the time was nuclear. You had a man, a woman, and a couple of kids. You might have some extended family too, like grandparents and stuff. Now, while the men would provide for and defend the family, the woman would stay in the cave, take care of the kids. You know, if the pile of bones and trash was getting to be a little big around the edges, she'd take that out of the cave and put it somewhere else, because dirty caves increase the likelihood of infection by disease. And, well, we have this natural drive to, not die! And, getting sick increases our likelihood of dying. Being dirty increases our likelihood of getting sick. So let's not get dirty or get sick and get sick and die. Well, let's clean the cave. She'd clean the cave, and when cooking was invented, she'd actually, most of the time, you'd see her cook and clean and take care of the kid, and the man would be out hunting. And, if it came to that, he'd be out fighting other men or beasts who wanted to, had crosshairs aimed at him or his family. He'd defend the family and provide for the family, as I said a million times. And, and we just evolved to fit into these gender roles, and which is why these days, or at least in days gone by, you had the woman in the kitchen staying home taking care of the kid, and the man going to work and earning the money and doing the shopping. Now, but these days, now, folks, I'm not saying that this is bad. I'm just saying that this is how it is. This is just the way the world works. These days, you have women going out and getting jobs, and men taking care of the kid. Now, this isn't a bad thing. This is not inherently bad. This is just how it is in this day and age. Now, most families, though, you see the man working and the woman taking care of the kid, at least when they actually have a small kid. And here's why. And this is why we have maternity leave. Because I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely fine if both parents decide to work. But here's the question. Until that kid is in school for 8 hours a day, until he's 6 years old and in school, or 5, 6 years old and he starts school, who's going to take care of him from birth to 5? That's why we have maternity leave, so the mother can see to the needs of the baby after it's born, after he or she is born. Now, ideally, the mother stays home and the man works because, well, number one, that's how we're wired. We're wired to do that. And number two, women and men have very different approaches to crying babies. I don't know about you, my faithful listeners, but I cannot stand crying babies. I'm not going to hurt them if they cry. Obviously, that's child abuse. And of course, if you can go to prison for abusing a kid, which you can, then let's not abuse any kids, because I don't want to get prison raped by Big Dick Bob, and that's not what God wants me to do either. That's not what anybody wants me to do, and that's not what I want to do. And whoever abuses kids, your wiring's crossed, and you need some mental fucking help. Maybe you need to know what it's like to be abused. That's what we should do to the abusive parents. Don't throw them in jail. Just put them with a couple of people who abuse them so they know what it's like to live in constant fear. I'm sick of these abusive parents, all right? I'm sick of them. Abusive parents should be neutered. They should be neutered. Publicly fucking neutered. And they should be put with a pair of people who abuse them day and night. So they know what it's like to live in constant fear. This goddamn thought that people could abuse their kid like that, it pisses me off, man. It pisses me off. It pisses me off. It pisses me off. Give me my drink! Give me that goddamn drink, for fuck's sake! Damn it! I gotta calm down, for Christ's sake. I gotta calm down. God damn it. Alright. Alright, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine. I'm cool, alright? Let's just continue the show. I'm fine. I'm gonna continue the show. Yeah, I was kind of raging back there. Fucking piece of parenting pisses me off. And so do these goddamn pedophile priests in the Vatican who fuck choir boys because Jesus Christ. I mean, it's like you got the Catholics who can actually think for themselves and decide what they do and don't believe, and you got the Papists who are theological midgets who can't think for themselves or are too lazy to think for themselves, and just go with whatever the Vatican says out of blind, mindless conformity. God. And that pisses me off, too. God damn it! Anyway, sorry to get off kilter there. I know I've gotten off kilter multiple times during the show, but I gotta go where my tongue takes me, Anyway, go where your mind takes you. Anyway, that's about, and that's how we're wired. I'm not against women going out and finding careers, and both parents working. But what I'm saying is, how the fuck are you going to be able to afford a babysitter if, for 6 years, every day, for 5-6 years? You're not. Unless you're some goddamn corporate billionaire who can afford a damn nanny. You're not. Which is why usually the woman stays home and takes care of the kid, and the man goes out and works, because men and women have different approaches to crying babies. When a woman hears a baby crying, her first thought is to actually go and comfort the kid. Like, what's wrong? What can I do to comfort this crying baby? Like, what, do I feed it? Do I change its diaper? Do I burp it? What do I do? Let's find out. But a man's attitude towards a crying baby, a man's first thought is going to be, all right, how do I, what's this goddamn noise, and how do I get it to shut the fuck up? How do I get this goddamn kid to shut the fuck up so I can continue and proceed with my goddamn day? More importantly, when's he going to learn to sleep all night? Instead of sitting over there and waking the parents up at 2 a.m. when they have work in the morning. Inconsiderate funnel piece of shit. Does nothing but eat, cry, and shit. That's what a man thinks. But women like babies. Because they're wired to like babies. Because they're wired to take care of the baby. While the man goes out and provides and protects. And, well, obviously the man's going to spend time with the baby because, any respectable parent, any respectable mother, any respectable father is going to take time out of their day and spend some time with their goddamn kid. I mean, good God. And that's how we're wired. And now on to these goddamn regulations. Now, I get why rape's illegal. If one person wants it and another doesn't, then don't do it. That's the culmination of anti-rape laws. And I get that. But the criminalization of prostitution, the overall legislation of morality doesn't work because people are going to do it anyway. People are going to continue to smoke pot. People are going to continue to visit whores or sell themselves. They're going to continue to partake in these activities, even though governments don't condone them. Why? Because you cannot effectively legislate morality. You can't do it. You guys know that I'm actually pro legalization of marijuana. I'm actually pro legalization of marijuana and pro federal legalization of marijuana and pro federal legalization of prostitution. I mean, not only because you can't legislate morality, but just think of the goddamn capital. These governments can make major capital off of the goddamn vice tax that they could feasibly attach to cannabis and whores. They can make bank off of that shit and use that capital that they make to spend money on the infrastructure, spend money on education, spend money on things that need to be funded, and pay off our national debts to various foreign states, various foreign powers, instead of defaulting every year. I mean, good God. Legalize I know I'm probably going to get a lot of heat for this in the comments section. And I know that I'm going to get a lot of folks saying that I'm a bad guy. I'm going to get a lot of trolls in the comments section. A lot of folks sitting there saying that I'm a bad guy. They're going to be saying that I'm a bad guy. I'm a bad guy. Oh, man. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, for Christ's sake. I'm just saying, you can't legislate morality. So just don't bother and legalize marijuana and prostitution on the federal level. Just attach a goddamn vice tax to it, like you do with booze and smokes. I mean, we tried criminalizing alcohol and legislating morality during Prohibition. Oh, look how well that turned out. And now instead of now booze is legal, of course, so people don't have to worry about bootlegging that. There's just a damn tax on it. There's a vice tax on it. These days, people are bootlegging pot and bootlegging prostitutes. I mean, here's an idea. Legalize marijuana. Make marijuana growers and dealers federal employees. All right. Legalize prostitution. Oh my God, yeah, legalize prostitution federally. I can imagine fucking Jerome, instead of fucking Jermaine the Pimp, straight out of NYC, wearing his goddamn, purple suit, all these gold rings on his fingers, this gold grill, driving this purple lowrider, blasting out the hip-hop. I can picture him in, like, this hotel-like building, kind of like a hotel, but with love. I mean, you pay to be with a woman, and they're in the window and shit. And instead of gold grill, he's in a business suit, and he's just in a business suit, wearing respectable clothing. He's got a name tag. He's this federal employee, and he says, instead of, "Yo, motherfucker, what I do? You know, man, I hook you up at home. You need some goddamn companionship, and I'm motherfucking all day." Instead of that, he could just say, he says, "Thank you for choosing the Blooming Rose, sir. How may I help you? Do you require a sexual favor to be done? I mean, good Lord. I mean, thank you for choosing the Blooming Rose. Do you require a sexual servant? I mean, yeah. I mean, and you pay at the desk, and you see, like." I'm sorry, folks. It just popped into my head. I had to sit over here and say that shit. Great. Now people are going to call me a goddamn Grand Imperial Wizard racist. Look, I'm not a racist. Didn't I just say in this very video that I don't goddamn believe in race? I don't believe in race, for Christ's sake. I don't believe in race. There's only the human race. There are no whites, no blacks, no Hispanics, no Asian, no nothing. There's just humans. Right? They're just humans. But seriously, with the way that your average pimp talks and dresses and just flaunts his jewelry. I mean, could you imagine a former pimp on the street who was engaged in that type of activity, now sitting in a nice, clean, office with his receptionist downstairs? He's just sitting in his desk with his name tag on his desk and his business suit. I mean, he may or may not be puffing on a cigar, but he's just sitting there, enjoying the view from his corner office with a window. I mean, good God. I mean, could you picture, I'm all for the legalization of prostitution, but just try and picture your stereotypical pimp as working as a federal agent for the government. I mean, good Lord! And another thing, I get why rape is illegal, but when a woman says, "Oh, I changed my mind, that means you raped me." No, you're just jockeying for power because you don't want to do any actual work to earn it, which is what the United States is based off of in the first place. I mean that's what a feminazi does. I mean, there's feminists and there's feminazis. Feminists believe that women are men's equals, which I can agree with. They're male feminists too. Women are men's equals. I agree with you. But the minute you say that women are better and that they have some kind of power over men and they're the superior sex and men can just... No. That's a feminazi. What a feminazi does is have sex, say yes, do the deed, and afterwards change your mind and cry rape. We need to change the law regarding that. I mean, if she says yes and changes her mind, that's not legitimate rape. She said yes. She got what she got because in this world, you don't get what you want, you get what you get! You get what you goddamn get! Oh, for Christ's sake. Damn mouse was having a spasm, for Christ's sake. Good Lord. And yeah, you saw my taskbar. I admit it. You caught me. I play World of Warcraft, right? I play World of Warcraft. I ain't gonna apologize for it either. Alright? But seriously, folks. I mean, yeah, I get it. Rape is bad. I mean, if you say yes and change your mind later, that's stupid. It's not legitimate rape. But if you say no, well, hey, whoa. If you say no, that's when I back off. If you don't want me doing something, hey, I won't do it. I'm not going to commit sexual harassment or rape of any sort. The minute she says no, backing right off. All right? Now, since I have a girlfriend, I don't flirt with other girls because, in my opinion, there are no other girls to flirt with. I mean, I can't fight my instinct. I'm wired to look at other girls, and she's wired to look at other guys, so I don't have a problem if she looks at some other man because she's wired to do it. That's another one of those wiring things. But flirting with other members of the opposite gender, now it's not cheating, but there's a thin line, and it's just on that, kind of on that thin line, so I don't do it. But, and if I do, I don't do it much. But normally, I do not. And this is where I get a little off kilter again, so I apologize in advance. Jealousy is not cute. Jealousy is not romantic. If you're jealous, you're just a douchebag, all right? Because here's why. Jealousy indicates a lack of trust, and you can't have a relationship without trust. Let me say that again. Jealousy indicates a lack of trust, and you cannot have any sort of relationship, whatever, without trust. I don't care if it's a romantic relationship. I don't care if it's a platonic relationship. I don't care if it's a business relationship. You can't have a relationship of any kind without trust. And which is why, you shouldn't, give your girl or guy or whatever any heat for looking at other members of the opposite gender or any other members of the same gender, should you have that particular sexual orientation. But, and that's just the thing. That's just it. Now, here's my attitude. Now, if someone were to flirt with my girlfriend, most people would say, someone flirts with my girl, I'll kick his ass. No. Here's my take on it. Let's say that my girlfriend and I were kind of, we're, I don't know, hanging out in the mall. We're, we're on the town, just on the town, spending the day at the malls and all the distinguished establishments, in town. We're on the town. And let's say that a man thinks, hey, she's pretty cute, goes up to my girlfriend and starts flirting with her. Now, she can take it one of two ways. She can either take it as complimentary, and not mind it, or she can take it, or she can just not mind it and just go along with it, or she can not like it. Now, if she doesn't like it, I like a woman who's not afraid to speak her mind and speak for herself. So if she doesn't like it, I'm confident that she'll speak for herself. Now, if she needs my help, I'll gladly help her out. If she needs me to back her up, I'll back her up. But here's the thing. I tend to be unbiased. If she needs me to back her up in any situation whatsoever, like it doesn't matter if it's flirting or social or whatever, I look at both sides of the issue and make a judgment. I mean, if my girlfriend is clearly in the wrong, then I'll say, civilly say, you're wrong about this, and this. You need to, kind of nudge yourself in the direction of this, and that. And but if she's right, then I'll back her up, and especially in the social arena. I mean, if someone's flirting with her and she doesn't like it and she needs me to back her up, I'll stand behind her with my goddamn brain, and I will use my cerebral cortex to mentally destroy this bastard and just leave him walking away thinking, what the fuck just happened? Science! But if she doesn't mind it, then that's fine. And if she likes it, well, that's definitely okay. And if she decides to, playfully flirt back with him, not meaning anything by it, that's fine. I mean, I know that she's not going to cheat on me. She knows I'm not going to cheat on her. We trust each other, even though it is long distance. But if we're actually physically together in the same area, I mean, if someone were to, I can't speak for her. I'm obviously not going to flirt with any other girl around her, most assuredly. But even if I do, I mean it in a platonic way. And here's why. Because girls like playful compliments, whether they're given to them by a guy or another girl. Girls, especially young women, are very, playful. They like to be playfully complimented. They don't like this stony-faced man. Hello, how are you? You look nice. That is a lovely dress. They like men who say, you're so pretty, like that. They like men who just playfully compliment them, who aren't afraid to be a little playful. And who aren't afraid to, throw them, hey, they even like the, hey, you look nice. Hey, that's a nice dress. They like being noticed and they like being playful about it. But then there's actual flirting, where you actually, there's playful complimenting and then there's flirting, where you actually mean to be romantic and you make that very clear by either saying they're dimples are so cute, or their smile is so cute, or whatever. But if you compliment them in a playful way, like saying that dress is so cute, that's just playful complimenting. That's not flirting. Flirting is what my girlfriend and I do. But if another guy, but here's my attitude towards the whole thing. If another guy were to flirt with my girl, and she either didn't mind it or actually enjoyed it, because, girls enjoy playful compliments. Here's the idea. If she doesn't mind it or enjoys it, my attitude is, it's basic. He's basically complimenting her in a playful manner. So, by complimenting her, which he's basically doing, by complimenting her, he's complimenting me, because he's indirectly saying that I have good taste in women, which I'm not going to argue with for a second. So if anything, if she doesn't mind it, or if she actually enjoys it, I'm not going to give him heat. In fact, if anything, I'm going to give him some props. Like, hey, yeah, she is hot, isn't she? Yeah, of course she is. As her boyfriend, I'd think that. Not that I'm biased or anything. That's what I'd think. I'm not the jealous type, all right? And neither is she. That's the great thing. Neither is she, all right? I happen to have a whole the reason I know so much about women is not just from Wiz. And the reason he's called Wiz is because, not just because he's a whiz, but he calls himself a wizard, saying that wizards are just seekers of knowledge, which he is. And, so I call him Wiz. And I say I'm a wizard too, because knowledge is like my drug. I'm addicted to the finding and seeking of knowledge, be it worldly or spiritual. And here's the thing. You got, Wiz, putting these truths into my head. And then you got, I happen to have the fact that I happen to have a whole bunch of friends that happen to be female. I also happen to have a whole bunch of friends that happen to be male. I got friends of both genders. And I say both genders instead of all genders because if you're transgender, you're the gender you identify with. There is no separate third gender. You're either male or female. Sex is what you're born with. Gender is what you identify with. If you're a male who identifies as a female, well, then gender-wise, you're female. And if you're vice versa, then gender-wise, you're vice versa. All right? Which is why I have no opinion on, Caitlyn Jenner particularly, because, well, Caitlyn Jenner identifies as female, so I'm going to say she, because she fits into that particular niche. She identifies as female. She used to be male, but then she had the surgery because she identifies as female. I don't think that Caitlyn Jenner is a hero. I don't think that, now, granted, coming out as transgender to the world and appearing on the cover of a magazine, with a headline, with the fucking headline, "Call Me Caitlyn," yeah, that did take guts. You may be a woman, Caitlyn Jenner, but what you did, yeah, to your credit, that actually did take a halfway decently sized pair of balls, didn't it? But on the other hand, I'm not going to call Caitlyn Jenner a hero. I am, however, going to call her brave. Some people call her beautiful or stunning. Now, beauty is, of course, in the eye of the beholder, and I don't find Caitlyn Jenner particularly physically gratifying. And the fact that Caitlyn Jenner was once a man kind of plays into that. But, but on the other hand, I'm not transphobic. I actually happen to have a friend that happens to be transgender. And of course, again, she identifies as female. She identifies as female, so I'm going to call her she. She happens to be transgender. So obviously, I'm not a transphobe because I happen to have a friend that happens to be transgender. But that's my attitude towards this whole Caitlyn Jenner thing. Stunning, not so much, because I don't find Caitlyn Jenner to be particularly physically gratifying. But, in regards to her being brave, yeah, I'll cede that point. I'll concede that. what she did with a magazine. You guys remember that magazine when it first came out, Call Me Caitlin? Yeah, that did take a decently... I mean, I know she probably got them cut off or retracted back in, but what Caitlyn Jenner did actually take a decently sized pair of balls to do. So you know, hats off to that. At least, I mean, South Park got it right. I mean, half right. I mean, Caitlyn Jenner is brave in that particular regard, but I don't find her stunning, and I'm not going to call her a heroine or a sort of hero or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, but I'll admit that Caitlyn Jenner's got guts. I'll admit that much. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is, jealousy indicates a lack of trust. You can't have a relationship without trust, so why be jealous? And why yell at you? And why get into an argument with your significant other for looking at other members of the same or of the opposite or same whatever gender, depending on sexual orientation? For the sake of the argument, I'm going to say opposite. For looking at members of the opposite gender because they're wired to do it. Now, I was at lunch. You know, I'm a student. I live on campus, and I have lunch in the school cafeteria. So I was having lunch in the school cafeteria with a couple of female friends of mine. Notice I didn't say girlfriends because, well, I only have one girlfriend. You guys aren't going to know what I mean. You got girlfriends, and then you got girlfriend. You got girlfriend, one word, and ideally a man's only going to have one of those. And you got girlfriend, two words. A man's going to have more than one of those, probably. But I'm gonna, you know, I mean, I was sitting with a couple of my chick friends, with a couple of my female friends, and I was saying, well, wait a minute, and one of them happened to have her boyfriend with her, and she was saying, yeah, he better not look at any other girls, and I'm saying, wait a minute, he's wired to look at other girls. As a straight, healthy man, he's wired to look at other girls. That's how he's biologically wired to do it. That's how his brain's been programmed. And she said, okay, fine. Then I'm wired to look at other men. And I said, yeah, exactly. You're right. Which is why you shouldn't yell at him for looking at other girls, because you're wired to do the same thing with men, and you're going to do the same thing with men. Why should he yell at you? Why should he yell at him? You don't yell at somebody for following that particular instinct. That makes no sense. Humanity as a whole makes no sense to me, folks. I'm sorry. People are complicated things. People are complicated, convoluted, twisted, individuals as a whole. Granted, there are some that actually do have their heads on straight, but the majority of humanity, I'd venture to say that they have their heads on, but they ain't straight. I mean, it's on, but it's not straight. But to their credit, it is on. Sometimes. Now, half of them, it's not even on their fucking shoulders. And they're running around trying to find the goddamn motherfucking thing. But anyway, I think I'm going to kill it here, folks. So, this was the second edition of Grains of Truth. Since I get a lot of my opinions and ideas from Ghost of True Capitalist Radio, Ghost, if you're watching this, if you think I'm trying to rip you off, I'm not. I am trying to carry on your legacy, all right? If you're watching this, Ghost, cheers to you. I mean that. I sincerely mean that. Shout out to you. Shout out to the capitalist ideology. Shout out to the capitalist army. And death. Death to ignorance. All right, folks. Shout out to Ghost. Shout out to Wiz. And, of course, shout out to Markiplier. Also, shout outs to College Humor and Animation Definition High Def. I'm going to kill it here. This has been the second edition of Grains of Truth. And Auf Wiedersehen and stay Teutonic, folks! Ha ha! Woo!